Good afternoon, everyone. It's an immense pleasure to welcome you all for today's webinar session on the topic SAP S/4HANA Advanced Intercompany Sales 2022 Part 2. I'm Rama Devi and the host for today's webinar by Incrisol. I will be assisting you in case if you find any difficulties during this session. Also, you can keep posting your queries in the chat window, which will be discussed in the last 15 minutes of our Q&A session. And today we have Mr. Suresh, SAP SD functional expert from Incrisol Software Services to drive this session. So in this session, we'll be discussing about setting up advanced intercompany sales, analyzing advanced intercompany sales process, and what are all the process restrictions. So now I hand over to the mic to Mr. Suresh to take this session forward. Mr. Suresh, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rama Devi. Alafi, thanks for joining this webinar. Okay, so as Rama Devi mentioned, it's a advanced intercompany sales part 2. So if any one of you have missed the part 1 session, you can find the link in chat box. Our colleague will ping you in the chat box. Okay, so go through that help you with the better understanding of this. Okay, yeah. So let me start this session now. Okay, so actually we have company sales, analyzing issues, restrictions, and then we'll go for the Q&A session. Okay. So let's discuss about the setting up advanced intercompany sales process. Okay. So there are two activities. Voice audible now?
Yes, Suresh. Yes, Suresh, please go ahead.
Use my tin laptop. Yeah, I have the presentation ready. No, you have your system ready for SAP.
the question. Am I visible on the screen? Hello.
Yes, Suresh, please go ahead.
Okay then. Yeah. ये handle करना है. Yeah.
It's ready.
Yeah.
All fine.
ये
Can't go in.
ये इस पे कौन पे जाएंगे? मैं इंटरेस्टिंग कर लूँ. इसको so yeah. So first of all, I would like to apologize for the network issues. Yeah. So I've just mentioned. So we have to ensure that the default customization is to be enabled in the SAP system, like defining the sales organization, assigning the sales organization to the company, distribution channel to the sales organization, and sales area. So these are the prerequisite activities which have to be readily available in the SAP system. Okay, without which we cannot run any sales scenarios, right? So these are the key factors. So, and in the same way, we have to assign the sales office to the sales area, maintaining the sales groups, assigning the sales groups to the sales offices, and then we need to assign the sales organization, distribution channel, plant combination, which is so in this case we have to assign the supplying plant and delivering plant, both are to the selling company. Okay, selling sales line. Okay. So in the same way, we have to ensure that the shipping data for the plant is maintained. So that we'll discuss in the next slide. Yeah. So here, so along with the existing configuration, we have to enable some other settings which would be new to you, like assigning a transit plan to a company code. So as I mentioned in the last session, so this will be used for the legality point of view, as and when there's a account book of entries have to be created. So system uses the transit plan for the expenses booking and revenue booking point of view. So for that reason, we have to assign this selling plant as a transit plan for the selling company, and rest of the activity which has to be taken care by the delivering plant, that will be done in a usual manner. Okay. So as I mentioned, so the same is explained in the this button. And in this case, so it's not mandated that you have to have the transit plan that would be virtual or the physical. So it's a main thing that the plan should have the minimum information which is needed for the advanced intercompany sales process, just like like a material master, price master, procurement info record, etc. So this is the bare minimum information which has to be available either in the physical plant or the virtual plant, so which can be assigned to the company code. Okay, so the view looks like this. Okay, like v underscore t001 underscore transit plan, which is a table maintenance table. By executing the transaction SM30, you have to maintain this entry for each company code. Okay, if you have multiple company codes and in which you have to process this activity for multiple companies, then you have to ensure that the transit plant is assigned to each one company code. And the next setting is, so define billing types. Okay, we used to have the other billing types for the advanced intercompany sales, right? Like IV2 is the intercompany invoice, so which is already available in the EC system. So by copying that, you can also create another billing document type IV2S, which stands for the new advanced intercompany sales process. So the settings are more or less similar to the IV2 document type. And then we need to create the order type CBIC. So this also you can copy the order type OR, which is a standard order. Then you can make a copy of to the CBIC intercompany order. So this is also similar to the order type OR. Once this activity is completed, then we have to assign this sales document type to the selling company sales area in order to delivering company sales area. Okay. So because as soon as you create the customer order, then system has to create a purchase order in the background. With reference to the purchase order, it has to create the sales order in the background, right? So for that reason, the intercompany order needs to be assigned to the delivering sales area. Then the other basic settings like incompletion procedure, document pricing procedure, partner determination procedure, text determination procedure. Okay, these are the settings have to be assigned. So the bare minimum setting which is required for the advanced intercompany sales order type is partner determination procedure, without which you won't be able to create a sales order in the background, because the partner determination is a key activity for the sold to ship to determination. The rest of the things like document pricing procedure is needed for the pricing procedure determination. Incompletion procedure, text determination procedure are optional. If there is a real need, then you can assign it and you can proceed further. Then we have to create a item category CBIC. Okay, CBIC is the intercompany order item category. Okay, so previously we do not have any dedicated order type and item category for the advanced intercompany sales. However, in the advanced intercompany sales, we have these new item categories, sales document type and purchase order type. Okay, which will run the complete show. Okay, so in this, the billing relevance makes the difference, like intercompany billing and it is delivery related billing. Okay, this has to be updated here, and this you can copy it by copying the standard item category TAN. After copy, then you have to change the billing relevance to Y. Then basic settings for intercompany order, like assigning the following basic functions to the item category. So it is also more or less same like incompletion procedure, partner determination procedure, text determination procedure, and item category determination. So as I mentioned, the partner determination is mandatory, incompletion and text determination can be optional, and the item category determination is mandatory. Yeah. Next thing is we have to create a new scheduling category which is CI. So this refers to no movement type, because the movement type gets switched as per the intercompany sales based upon the prerequisite configuration which we do it in the next step. So here the movement type is blank, but when you create advanced intercompany sales by changing the transit plot in the delivering plant in the shipping tab, then this movement type will be auto updated in the sales order under schedule and category data. Okay, for that reason, we keep this schedule and category empty with the movement type. Then the system takes care of assigning the movement type during the sales order creation. Okay. Then business function. Okay. So by default, the business function log_mm_sit. So this is the business function which would be activated by default. If it is not activated, you have to ensure that the business function is activated. Okay, so you have the transaction code SFW5 in which you can activate the business function. Then define movement types. Okay, so as I mentioned in the previous session, so there are two new movement types which have been introduced by the SAP system, SAP team. So like 687 and 688. Stock transfer to issuing value to stock in transit is used to post the stock from the physical stock to the value to stock in transit. So I'm not going into the value to stock in transit fundamentals, because the same was explained in the part 1 session. Okay, if somebody missed it, you can go to the YouTube channel and you can find that video there. Okay, so 687 is to post the stock into the value to stock in transit. Then 688 is used to reverse the stock in transit if there are any errors or corrections to be done. And if this customization is not available in the running client, like you might be having like 100, 110 like that. So if these movement types are not available in those clients, then you have to refer the client 000, in which you will find the SAP standard customization. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, so the movement types are movement types look like this, like goods movement delivery to issuing value to stock in transit, and the reversal of it. Okay, then define the movement type determination. Okay, so as I mentioned, we kept the movement schedule and category empty without movement type, right? So here there is a process, there is an approach how the movement type has to be assigned to the sales order according to the scenario. Okay, so here you have different process steps, okay, that you have seen in the process session 1, like GIOD, GTFS, GRTS, GIFS, GITC. So these are the process steps which would be working as per its role. Like if you take about the GIOD, so it is delivering company, goods transfer from storage location to value to stock in transit. So as we mentioned in the session 1, so the stock has to be moved into the value to stock in transit. For that reason, the system uses the movement type 687. Okay. Then there is other process type like GTFS. This is to move the goods from value to stock in transit to receiving plant. So as I mentioned in the session 1, there are 5 entries to be happened. One is moving the stock within the plant premises into the value to stock in transit. Once the value to stock in transit filled, then it has to be moved from value to stock in transit to the delivery supplying company supplying plant. So for that reason, system uses the movement type 601. Then process step starts like GRTS, which would be performed in the selling company. Okay, the previous one like GIOD and GTFS are performed in the delivering company, and the rest of the movements are happened in the selling company. Okay, like goods sit into the storage location, for which system does the movement type 101 entry. Okay, so this creates the procurement entry, like inventory account gets accredited and the CGRIR gets debited, right? So like that, the entry gets created by using the 101 movement type. Okay, then system uses the process type GIFS, which is selling company, goods transfer from storage location to value to stock in transit. So it is just for this is for the inventory accounting entry purpose. We are doing the 101, then it has to be moved to the value to stock in transit. Okay, once this process step is completed, then it will jump into the GITC process step, which is selling company, goods issue from value to stock in transit to the customer. Okay, again the movement type 601 comes into the picture. There are 2 entries for the movement type 601. One is in the delivering company, so which delivers the goods from delivering company to the selling company. Then the 601 movement type is happened in the selling company, which is used for the goods issue from the selling company to the customer. So in this activity, you assign the movement types to the combination of the process step that we can see in the next slide. Okay, so here by using the transaction v underscore sdsls underscore gmty underscore det. So this is the transaction, or else you can go with the SPRO path, which is highlighted in the slide, right? So there are set of activities like customization combination which have to be ensured in the SAP system. Like there's a scheduling category CN, so which we used for the day-to-day activity, like we use the no material planning, right? So as an example, you can take this. Okay, there you have to assign the value to chain tab. So you can see that IC underscore sales, right? Okay, so this can be okay, this has to be assigned there. Let me show you in the next slide for better view. So you can see that, right? So this is the way the screen looks like in the SAP system. Okay, here the value chain tab makes a vital role here. okay, like IC_sales, which defines the scenario. Okay, so other than the advanced intercompany sales, there is other process like advanced stock transfer process, as well as advanced sell from stock process, which would be explained in the next sessions. Okay, so this value chain type defines the process step. Okay, so in that combination, we have to maintain the process types like GIFS, GIFV, GIOD, GITC, and GRTS. Okay, these activities would be picked up as per the activity that has to be done by the monitor value chains application, which is a theory. Okay, so here against which we have to maintain the movement type. Okay, so this is the complete step which we have to configure in the SAP S/4HANA system. Then we have to define a PO document type. Okay, so far we have seen there's a separate order type for the intercompany order process, and there's a separate item category, right? In the same way, we have the separate purchase order type. Okay, so the intercompany order type and the intercompany purchase order types are used in the background as soon as you create a sales order from the foreground. Okay, so for that reason we have a dedicated purchase order type. Okay, that is NBAI, that is used for the intercompany purchase order process. You can copy the existing order type like NB, and by copying that you can maintain the settings which are highlighted in the slide. Okay, like we have to ensure that the third party and standard item categories have to be maintained there. Okay, then you have a separate field selection in which we can make the Incoterms and payment terms mandatory. Okay, rest of the settings remain same. Okay, then we need to assign the basic settings to the purchase order document type. Okay, like you have this partner schema, so we assign the partner determination procedure in the sales order type, whereas in the purchase order document type we have to assign the partner schema here and the field selection criteria. Okay, so these are to be assigned there. So these are the bare minimum basic settings to be mapped for the advanced intercompany sales. Then we need to define the copying control from the delivery to the intercompany. Okay, so generally what happens, as and when the sales order is created, then you will create a delivery with reference to the sales order, right? Then when you create a delivery for the intercompany invoice, system has to ensure that all the prerequisite documents are created and updated properly. Like you have the 5 entries right in the background, like goods movements, like one is for goods issue to the validated stock in transit, and validated stock in transit left to the goods delivering selling company plant. Then you have selling company's entries. Okay, once these activities are completed, only then system allows you to create the billing. Okay, otherwise system won't let you create it. Okay, example, once the sale order is created, and then you will go for the delivery, right? And then when you create a billing document type, system checks whether the purchase order is created against it, and checks whether the sale order is created against it or not. So these activities are not completed, then system straight away throws an error saying that the preliminary documents are not completed, hence you are not allowed to create the billing. So for that reason, you have a new copying controls that are 435 at header level and 436 at item level. So these would be controlled by using the copying requirements 435 and 436, and rest of the settings same. Okay, so then you have certain activities for the technical job definitions which have to be activated. Okay, you have a transaction code which is highlighted on the slide like S_YI3 underscore 39000188. Okay, in this transaction you have to ensure the jobs are active, like you have 3 different jobs. So here you have for stock transport functionality, one is for advanced intercompany sales functionality, and the other one is sell from stock. Okay, right? So these 3 are to be activated, and these would be working as per the scenario that you are running. Okay. So this is the screen that would be visible in the SAP screen. Then configure the value chain monitoring framework for business event handling. Okay, So this functionality is purely based on the events. Okay, events like a business event which we use for the third party sales scenario. If somebody is aware of the third party sales scenario in which you can create automatic purchase order, right? In the same way, system uses the business event handling functionality which creates the purchase order, sales orders, and its changes by using the business event functionality. Okay, so this has to be maintained. Okay, so here you have a SPRO path like above platform, so which was previously known as a SAP NetWeaver. In S4HANA, it will be above platform under SAP Gateway Service Enablement. Then you have to go to the event type linkages, or else you can directly execute the transaction code SWE2. Okay, so as soon as you log into it, then you have to ensure that these are the object categories to be maintained. Okay, like the object type event for create, change, okay, resume, restart. Okay, you have different options in the monitor value chains, right? Like reload, reprocess. So these are the activities to be triggered based upon the business event handling functionality, like change, resume, retry, and restart. Okay. So I've just highlighted those screenshots here with the necessary settings. Like the class name is there for the CLV underscore VCM underscore RT underscore event underscore handler underscore change. The same way, if it is resume, then the suffix will be resume. If it is start, then suffix will be start. Like that, the class remains same, but the suffix will make the difference here. Okay, so see here. So it will be retry and it will be start. Okay, so these settings have to be maintained. Then allow a sales document type to execute the process advanced intercompany sales. Okay, here there's a certain set of activity to be done in the SAP system, like so to uh, there should be kind of mechanism for the system to identify whichever what is the order type for the intercompany sales order that has to be created in the background. For that reason, we have to ensure that the activity is maintained here. So here we mention the process relevance. As you can see here, there's a process relevance section in which we highlight that this is for the delivering company, and for the other entries like ZICS is there, right? This is for the selling company. The order gets created from the selling company by using the order type ZICS or document type. So once the order is created, then system creates the sales order in the delivering company by using the sales document type. So here you have a checkbox, right? The checkbox is highlighted for the OR and ZICS. So it means that these are the order types would be used for the advanced intercompany sales. If these document types are not mapped here, then system acts upon the old functionality which was running in the ECC system. Okay. Then we need to maintain the item categories are here. So these are optional things. So we need to mention it. Okay, like we need to mention the advanced intercompany sales as a selection here by maintaining the advanced intercompany item category as well as the regular item category. So it is completely optional. So there's no difference even if you maintain it here or not. So this is just for a reference purpose. Okay, path remains same. You will find that section under the sales document and integration with the value chain monitoring, so which is a new node actually. Okay, then we'll go for the different sales document type to be used for the intercompany sales order. Here we need to map the complete process here. Okay, so system collects the customization which we did in the previous slide. Okay, based upon the system picks up the default information in which we need to map this with a combination of value chain type. We have seen, right? One is for advanced intercompany sales, the one is for sell from stock, and one for advanced stock transfer order functionality. So the present processes for the advanced sales intercompany sales. For that reason, we have selected the value chain type IC underscore sales. Okay, in which we have to map the sales document type here, and against which we do nothing. Okay, but for the advanced intercompany sales, from where the advanced intercompany process is initiated, there we have a functionality to control whether this is activated or deactivated. So the purpose of it is to activate and deactivate the scenario. Okay, so by default we made it as X. It means it is enabled. If at all you want to deactivate it, then you have to make a change here. Yeah, so these are the settings which have to be taken care, okay, to run the complete advanced intercompany sales process. Okay, then we'll step into the analyzing issues in advanced intercompany sales process. Okay. uh, so there's an ability to analyze the issues with the monitor value chains application. Okay, we discussed that in the session 1, right, in which we have seen the monitor value chain theory application, in which you would be able to identify the root cause of the issue. Okay, and along with that, system also provides the information to resolve the issues. Like we used to have the message information in the EC system, right? Even in the S4HANA, you would be able to see a long text information, right? In the same way, in the value monitor value chain sphere application, you will find the same output in the this application, in which you can find the root cause of the issue and the resolution steps in the same way. Okay, then you have a flexibility to reprocess and reload the transaction. Okay, like maybe you made the required correction by identifying the root cause of the issue, then you have to reprocess the transaction so that the system triggers the business events. Then it will attempt to recreate the follow-on transactions. Once the update is received, then it will update the monitor value chains application. Okay, then able to track the overall process stage here in the transaction initial screen. So we've seen that process stage, right? So for every document, you would be able to track the status of it. Okay, like we used to have a document statuses in the document flow, right? In the same way, you will find a chain in the fear application where you can see a header level status. And then you have a dedicated fear application to process the erroneous documents in the background. Okay, so this functionality can be activated in the background, which would be run in the background on a timely basis. Okay, so you have a different application, right? We'll see that. Okay, so here, as you can see on the screen, so easy navigation to the message log from the document section with the drill down. Okay, so this is the change you can see in the fear application. Okay, this is the originated initial sales order with reference to which the complete process is running. Okay, so the document went well till supplier invoice, and the process stuck in the supplier invoice section. So here, when you click on this, then the right side panel will be appeared. Okay, in the right side panel, there's a message log in which you can find the list of errors which are causing to process the follow-on document. Okay, so this is how we can find the detailed information of the messages that are causing the transaction processing. Okay, and then you have a simple process to identify the root cause of the issue. Okay, so as I've just mentioned, you have a documentation part right side. Okay, you have to click on it, then system provides you the root cause. Okay, diagnosis system, you can see under the diagnosis section, program parameters for supplier 17 have not been maintained. Okay, so in this case, system says that maintain the program parameters to EDI intercompany process in the invoice verification. So we did this function settings in the session 1. If somebody missed it, you go to the Incusol Sales YouTube channel, then you will find a link in that. Okay. So once the required changes are completed, then you have to click on the reprocess so that system integrates with the SAP on-premise system. It makes the required changes and it will give you with the latest updates. If it is a background job, so which is running, okay, for that you can also make use of the button reload. By using the reload, if there is any delay between the data interchange, then system again communicates with the SAP system and it will fetch the latest information on it. Okay. Okay, so and coming to the background process. Okay, you have a application, right? For the background programs. Okay, you have a application like application jobs is a Fiori application in which you can schedule and monitor the background jobs. Okay, if you have any manual activities that you define, okay, and you need a manual intervention, system will take care of it by using the Fiori application. You can plan your regular works which keep you free to concentrate on the other work. Okay, you don't need to see the process on your own by opening it. So the Fiori application will take care of it. Then I'm jumping into the restriction nodes. Okay, like, so as we know that as a coin has two sides, okay, the every functionality may have some restrictions, right? Maybe you are allowed for till a certain functionalities. In the same way, there would be some restrictions which are explained in a separate process. Okay, let us see that. Okay, so restrictions, like there are two sections, okay, like functional scenario restrictions and unprocessed functions and scenarios. Okay, these two sections would be talked about here. Okay, so like sales standard sales order item can't be deleted. Okay, once you create a sales order, system is creating a purchase order as well as the sales order in the background, right? So for that reason, system won't allow you to delete the sales order item right away. So for that reason, what you have to do is, there's a solution one for which you have to maintain a reason for rejection. The solution number two is change the delivering plant to an intra company plant. Afterwards, deletion is possible. So either you do that activity or this. Only then you would be able to make a delete entry here. Okay. Then material number in the standard sales order can't be changed after purchase order has been created. So because there's a fallen document exists, okay, so you won't be able to change the material number in the sales order. So that is a functional restriction here. Then change of the unit of measure. Okay, so as we mentioned, the sales order creates the following documents like purchase order and the sales order. The data which is there in the sales order would be passed on to the purchase order section and the delivering company sales order section. Okay, for that reason, changing the material unit of measure is not allowed in the sales order. And change will lead to an error during the creation of the intercompany supplier invoice. Okay, that's good for till you do it for the company intercompany billing. Whereas the system is attempting to create the supplier invoice in the background, system comes up with these errors. Okay, unit of measure comparison issues. Okay, next, manually created intercompany supplier invoice are not visible in the monitor value chain application. Okay, if you do that activity, okay, so you have a functionality given by the SAP. So initially, if you try to create the supplier invoice in the background, system gives you a warning message, which is a default functionality. Okay, if at all you want to make it error, then you have a settings for the messages. Okay, so that path would be available in the SPRO node. Okay, so here the message would be 225. Okay, you have settings, right? The functionality will find this configuration in which you can make this message from warning to error. Then here the transaction code is also provided like OM_RM_2 or make the settings in the given path. So here you can play switch between warning and error. Okay, you have manually deleted intercompany supplier invoices are still visible in the monitor value app chain. Okay, so you can prevent the manual deletion of intercompany supplier invoice in your configuration environment by setting the message. Same like for the manual creation process. In the same way, you can also restrict the user from deleting it. Okay, so the path remains same and the T code remains same, in which you have to switch between error and warning. Then you have SAP Fiori main sales order app that doesn't show the transit plant. Okay, that's why you have to refer the SAP on-premise system VS03 transaction, in which you would be able to find the transit plant. Okay, so conversion factors. So including manually changed conversion factors, the sales order are not copying into the intercompany purchase order or the intercompany sales order. Okay, so that works independently. That's why it has been mentioned. If you have any own conversion factors, that won't read them. Okay, that will work on its own. Then you have delivery related pro forma invoice that cannot be created in the delivering company. So there is a restriction. So then order related pro forma invoice can be created in the delivering company. Okay. So, and in the same way, the intercompany sales order is not visible in the document flow of the standard sales order. Okay. If you look at the document flow section in the SAP system, the sales order won't be visible in the document flow section. Okay, but can be displayed in the monitor value chains app. Okay, you have a document flow section right in the fear application, in which you can find the sales order which is created in the delivering company. Okay, and you can also see the same in the order fulfillment fear application. And it is not allow you to change the ship to party number or ship to party address in the standard sales order, because if you change it, okay, what happens, wrong ship to party information can be copied into the intercompany customer invoice, because the sales order will be the base for the follow-on documents, because of which system say the process says that changing the ship to party or its address will lead to the wrong information to the intercompany's invoice. Then instead of changing the ship to party information, what you have to do as an alternative, you should create a new sales order item with the new ship to party information. Okay, then you have to mark it as no reason for rejection, or you have to change it back. Okay, like that. Then the ship to party address in the intercompany sales order always refers to the business partner address in the master data. So we have a leading object in the S4HANA, that is business partner. So by referring this, system captures the address into the follow-on documents. And if the goods issued from stock in transit in the selling company has not been posted yet, batch split items in the customer invoice won't determine the cost in the pricing. For example, you have a condition type PCIP for the internal price, so that won't work properly. And profit center substitution is not enabled in the standard sales order or intercompany sales order, which is a restriction. And for standard sales order items where the field partial delivery is set to create only one delivery. Okay, so you won't be able to create multiple deliveries with reference to it. So delivery items with 0 item quantity are not supported. In this case, respective intercompany sales order will be, okay, something is missing there. And the billing date of the intercompany customer invoice is used as a posting date. Okay, when you create the intercompany customer invoice, system reverses the billing date from there. Okay, for the intercompany supplier invoice, which is created in the Miro entry, it's more or less it is a Miro entry which would be performed by the fair application. Okay, so in that case, system refers the billing date from the intercompany customer invoice. Okay. See, the intercompany supplier invoice can't be created in case the posting period is already closed. Okay, if that's the case, there's a solution one. Cancel the intercompany customer invoice and recreate with the billing date where the posting periods are open in the delivering company. Let's say, so I'm at a month end. Okay, you perform some sort of activities and then you closed it. Okay, I'm at the date of 5th or 6th in the new month. Okay, in that case, you are attempting to create the invoice in the 6th or 5th. However, system refers the billing date from the actual goods issue date of the delivery, right? So in that case, you have to make you have to concentrate on the billing section where you change the billing date in that. If you make it to the future date, then system refers the same future date into the supplier invoice. This is a solution one. And the other solution is, you have a baddie which is a existing baddie which is used in the ECC system as well, that is MMIV_IC_mapping, in which you can set a different posting date. Okay, so there you have to write your own logic to manipulate the billing data invoice date of it. Okay. Then you have solution 3, open the posting period in the selling company to post the intercompany supplier invoice. So either these ways you can process the same. But our suggestion is either you go for the with the appropriate billing date or go for the bad implementation. So it's a good suggestion from us. Then you have a remarks as well. So intercompany supplier invoice creation is only possible after goods receipt in the transit plant. Okay. So we have 5 different entities, right? So when the system performs the goods receipt in the selling company, then only you are allowed to create the the supplier invoice creation. Okay. You can prevent this issue by creating a intercompany customer invoice after goods receipt in the transit plant has been posted. Then delivering item having zero quantity are not relevant for the intercompany invoices. So it's not a general cases, right? So generally you won't have any line item with the zero quantity. So there's no point of billing the customer with zero quantity, right? So for that reason, system has restricted having a zero quantity line item in the intercompany sales process. And for delivery items having zero quantity, intercompany invoice will be created. Okay. However, the intercompany customer invoice items having zero quantity are not transferred into the intercompany supplier invoice. So this usually comes when you have a batch split functionality. Maybe the main item would be always zero. However, the batch item will be with the quantity. In that case, you would be able to create a billing. But when you create a supplier invoice, system won't transfer that corresponding information into the supplier invoice. So that's the fun of it. In the monitor value chain app, the process step intercompany supplier invoice won't always get the document processing stage completed. But there are prerequisites which have to be ensured. Like you have a lot of preconditions to perform this activity, right? So that's why it is saying that. Okay. In some scenarios of advanced intercompany sales, the system uses the reason for rejection 62 in the sales order in delivering company. The usage of the reason for rejection 62 is fixed in the source code and can't be configured. Okay. So this is a hard-coded functionality which is in the standard program. Okay. So it is necessary that the reason for rejection is defined, and a delivering company must have always the same supplier number in a selling companies. Okay. So delivering company must have a same supplier number in the selling company. And it is not possible to have a different supplier number for delivering company in a selling company. So because it is a common number which you maintain for these companies, right? Maybe that would be used for the stock transport order scenarios or for the advanced intercompany sales scenarios. The code would be common for each plant, right? 1:1 ratio. So you won't be able to change the supplier number of the delivering plant, because that refers that data would be referred for the subsequent document processing, right? And the supplier number is used to create the intercompany supplier invoice. Okay, so as I mentioned that, so this information would be used in the following documentation. Okay, so that's the reason system won't let you change it. And a delivering company must have always the same supplier number in selling company. Same thing. Okay, you have a different section for the setup shipping data for plant that covers this, and more or less the functionality would be same in the ECC system as well as in the S4HANA system, like defining the shipping data for plant and maintaining the plant code in the vendor master and mapping the same for these details and extending that to the relevant entities. The process remains same. By using the existing functionality, it has added some additional functionality to process the advanced intercompany sales. That's why it is coming under the restriction section. Okay. And it is not possible to have a different supplying. The process remains same, like you won't be able to differentiate it. And you have functional restrictions like advanced available to promise is executed independently from the advanced intercompany sales process. Okay, it is just like a usual functionality which is running for the regular scenarios. In the same way, it also works for the advanced intercompany sales process. Okay, but the following restrictions apply. What are they? The sub items being created by AATP can't be executed as advanced intercompany sales because the auto determined functionality won't work for the advanced intercompany sales. So this is one of the restrictions as part of the AATP functionality. And backorder processing and changing the material number is not supported. Okay, so you won't be able to change the material code, right? So that was already initially discussed in the first or second point, right? Changing the material is not supported by the advanced intercompany sales. So there's no scope of it. Then you have advanced intercompany sales is using the value to stock in transit. Therefore, the business function must be active. So this point was discussed in the previous slide, right? This have to be activated, without which you won't be able to run the advanced intercompany sales. Okay. Integration with IBP response and supply. Okay. Supply with advanced intercompany sales is not supported. Okay. So, and predictive accounting doesn't support advanced intercompany sales. As we know that there is a predictive accounting scenario, which is a key innovations in the S4HANA. So that functionality won't support for the advanced intercompany scenario. Okay. And the next section is, so far we discussed about the functional restriction, which would be hardly done by the functional activity. So but here the unsupported functions and scenarios like structures in the standard roles, okay, like bill of material creating the sub items, and advanced ATP creating sub items. The points was discussed in the previous slide. And free goods creation sub items, and order related customer invoicing, okay, and free of charge items without customer invoice elements, solution orders, okay, and scheduling agreement, non-stack material. So if it is a non-stack material, so there's no point of running the advanced intercompany sales. That's the reason system has kept into the restriction. And you have non-validated materials. Non-stack is different, and non-validated stock process is also different. Okay. And service materials. So generally, you won't create the intercompany sales process for the service material. That's why it is mentioned under the unsupported section. And you have returnable packaging, and this won't be covered under advanced company sales. And integration with WBS elements, it is also not supported. And you have make to order scenario with variant functionality, and sell from stock with make to order production. You have two different, right, in which you can shuffle the functionality from here and there and here and there, right? Like sell from stock to MTO from sell from stock. In that situation, it won't work. And then deliveries and delivery items without sales order reference. Okay, so for example, you are trying to insert a new line in the delivery, but there's no preceding document for which the system has to act upon, right? So for that reason, so this comes under the restriction section. Okay, so if you enter any line item in the delivery, then there's no point of creating those. So for that reason, we have to restrict that in the delivery level, where you can assign the item requirement in the delivery document type. So by using the transaction, you have Vivo OVLK transaction. So there you have a field for routine, right? So there you have to restrict not to enter the new line item in the delivery. And intercompany customer invoice corrections. Okay, this functionality is also not supported as part of the new functionality. And third party direct shipment or draft shipment, neither functionality, neither of them are supported. Catch weight management, this functionality is also not available. Commodity management, active ingredient management, that won't work. Last mile distribution, so, and preliminary building documents, differential invoices, empties management. So these are the things which won't cover as part of the advanced intercompany sales scenario. Okay, so yeah, I'm done with the presentation. So we can quickly jump into the Q&A. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you may ask. Yeah. Asan, do you have any? Rama, do you have any questions with you?
Yes, we received one query regarding. So can we run the existing intercompany sales without activating this?
Yes, there's a feasibility, but however, what is the point of running the existing functionality since we are provided with the new functionality? Okay, so what is lacking in the advanced sales process, that you can refer to the SAP, right? So if you have a new feature, better to use it. So that's my suggestion. Yeah. Any other question, Rama? Hello.
Yes, Suresh. So one more question. So can we use any existing PO type without creating new document types?
Yeah, my suggestion would be always create a new document type, because you would be using it for other existing functionality which might have some impact in that, right? So you can still use it unless there is no prior activities done by that. So you can use it by making the required changes as I mentioned in the previous slide. Yeah, so like that. Okay, so better to use the new document types, and that would be used for ease of reporting. When you run the document, reporting, then you can use this document as a key input selection for the data extraction. Okay, so that's my suggestion. Yeah.
Suresh, we have another question regarding what controls are covered using the new requirement types in the copying controls.
Okay. It's a nice question actually. So we do have other capping routines, right, for the existing advanced intercompany sales. In the same way, the new capping routines covers the controls which are needed to create a billing. Like you are creating a sales order, but system won't stop you creating the delivery, right? But when you go for the billing, but there's no point of creating the billing unless there are preliminary preceding documents are created, like purchase order which is created in the selling company, and the sales order which is created in the delivering company, right? So without which system won't allow you to create the customer billing. Because so if you create the these billing documents, then with association with the billing document, you are running the other activity in the background like supplier invoice, right? So if you do that without any activity, then there's no point of creating it, because that will lead to the error while creating a supplier invoice. For that reason, system checks all the prerequisite documents which are needed for the smooth processing. So this routine covers pre-checks of these purchase order creation, sales order creation, and the items whatever that is needed. So it covers those things. Yeah. Okay.
So, Suresh, we have another question regarding who are to be involved from consultant team to set up this entire process.
Yeah, it's a good question actually. So we've seen different activities in the SAP system, right? Like starting from the functional aspect until the technical aspects, you have different set of activities have to be done by the different consultants. If you decode them into a separate person, so primarily you need a SD consultant, so who set up this document type creations, assignments, and the mapping of these movement as with the appropriate process steps. Okay, for this reason we need an SD consultant. Parallelly, we need one consultant to create the PO types and its related activities. Okay, like changing that message from warning to error, or maintaining the parameters which are needed for the background supplier invoice creation. So for that reason, we need consultant, and you have these entries like web event linkages, right? Which are to be created in the SWE2. So for that reason, we might need the technical help like ABAP, okay, a vapor and basis, okay, team, so who participate for this. And in parallel, we also need the security team who provide the authorization to the required persons. You have different authorization objects which are to be maintained for the users roles and responsibilities. Okay, And if you have any enhancements like mentioned in the slides, right? Maybe you have some posting date issues or any data passing issues for which you might need the help of ABAP, right? So for that reason also you have to make use of ABAP. And if at all you want to run this functionality, right? Usually we have to go for the monitor value chain application, right? For which we need a help of a Fieri application, a Fieri consultant, right? So these consultants are minimum required, and this is completely a one-time setup. Okay, this is completely a one-time setup. So once this setup is completed, then it's a it's a turn of end user who can run the process in the live system. Yeah. Any other question, Raman?
As of now, hope answered all the questions.
Okay, then. So if you still have any questions, you can post those into our Inclusol mail ID. We have given, I think it is not mentioned here, right? So we have our Inclusol sales support team mail ID for which you can share your query. So for which you will get the update within 1 or 2 days. If you still have any issues, you can also go to our YouTube channel, Inclusol Sales, in which you will find this YouTube video. So where you can mention your queries in the comment section. So there also our team will help you out with the appropriate information. Okay. So stay connected with the Inclusol team for future webinars. Yeah. So anything else to add, Rama, or else we can wind it up then?
Yeah. So thank you all. So we hope all you enjoyed our session, and you must have taken some important takeaways. So our next webinar details will be shortly circulated along with the schedule and the registration details by our events team. And if you have any like queries related to the same, you can drop an email to sales@inclusol.com for any inquiries. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rama. Thank you for the participation.
Yes.
Bye bye.